Holy crap, I'm going to lose my job. Have you ever said this to yourself? Have you ever been in that position? Well, there are a few things you can do about that. Stay tuned and find out more. Hi, this is G.H. Glade. So we look at our job and we've been called on the carpet, so to speak, and we feel like that naughty child. There's a boulder that's going to roll down the mountaintop and crush us in its path. We might lose our job. Employers will often develop what's called a performance improvement plan, or a PIP. And these are objectives created by the employer that really help you figure out, what is my role? What do I need to do to better fulfill those responsibilities of that role? They create clearly defined areas where the employee can improve their work. And an important part of responding to a PIP is get metrics. How do you know that things are going to have improved? How does your boss know that improvement has been made? You need solid, objective metrics by which you're judged. Now, your employer doesn't want to go to the phenomenal expense of letting you go, paying unemployment, finding a new person. All of that takes a lot of money, which your employer doesn't want you to spend. And oftentimes people take the attitude that it's a foregone conclusion if I go on a PIP that I'm going to be fired. Not always the case. So here's what you can do. First of all, have a positive attitude. Look at it as an opportunity to get some real clarity about the expectations of your job. You start your PIP with a mindset that this is going to be something that improves your skills, and attitude is important in that whole process. If you feel it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to be fired, how can you possibly do well? And how can you possibly have a positive attitude? Important in that is taking responsibility. Realize that this has not come overnight, that this is something that has been brewing. And if you have lacked the feedback along the way, make this something that you put in place as you go into a PIP, and even after you successfully pass through the PIP and are off that sort of probationary status. Listen intently to any coaching or suggestions, and then take responsibility for that change and those things that you do need to improve upon. You know, it may be a matter of missing deadlines or important sorts of things, and acknowledging that that wasn't your intent. You're sorry about missing the deadline, and that you're going to put some steps in place to correct that. And we're going to talk about accommodations at the end of the video. So stay tuned until the end, and you can find out what are the things that you're entitled to in terms of accommodations to meet that PIP. One of the things I frequently request for my students when they get accommodations is extra time. Sometimes your employer is going to say, hey, the deadline for this PIP is 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Having additional time to extend the PIP to meet those goals and objectives that people put into place for you can be really helpful in terms of fulfilling the obligations of the PIP. One of the things that's often difficult for people is to ask for help. Your manager can give you some insights about how to fulfill your job better, but show them a willingness to improve those skills. It can help you make questions specific. You gain further clarity about the manager's expectations. For example, if your manager says your work isn't the quality that they're looking for, have them explain in a lot more detail. What are tangible examples of things that do make this quality standard? Can you show me other people's work anonymously that really hits the points? Can you form a checklist for yourself of various things that you need to meet on various types of reports? So asking is help. It's often difficult, but something you need to do. Putting in more effort to show that you're taking the necessary steps to fulfill the goals of that PIP is really important. This can be having more deliverables. You may need to put in some extra hours and show up for work on time, ready to go. You know, there's an old saying in business that I think is very accurate. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're already late. And that showing up early and ready to go is really tangible evidence of you doubling your effort. Now, I mentioned the fact that we need particular points of feedback through the course of a PIP. And I encourage you to check in really regularly with your manager or your boss and get that feedback on how is it going in terms of you meeting those obligations of the PIP. Consider having a weekly chat with your manager. Some companies do this automatically, whether you're on a PIP or not. And this is really helpful in terms of shaping new employees. And this can be really beneficial for you in terms of reshaping your behavior. We are on teams because teams have a synergy that really is far more potent than the sum of its parts. Talk with your team. Talk to them about how they approach doing projects or their role and responsibilities. What advice can you get from them? You know, a team is designed to be like a think tank. And you can use this as a think tank for your own needs in terms of really bringing your performance up to a standard that the company really wants to see you do. I think it's important to set your own goals for improvement. They can be personal to you. They can be designed to help you achieve as well. By attempting to complete a goal or objective is more difficult than one that your manager sets. You might be able to reach your employer's goal more easily than your own. It was really interesting when I was in school. I had a teacher that had our evaluation be something we decided. We would set our own goals for what it would take to get an A, a B, or whatever grade you wanted. And the employer really didn't care what you got for a grade. Heck, the whole class could have gotten A's and he would have been just fine with that. But that really is another way of setting that responsibility. So this is G.H. Clay. If this video has been useful for you and you're in that situation, thump that like button. Also share this video. My goal in this channel is to get it out in the world, but basically to help people, to give them information. What can you do in terms of accommodations? Again, relying on your team. I find a useful accommodation is often to request shorter reports or documents. One of the things that also may be an accommodation under the Americans with Disabilities Act is more time for you to complete the mandates of the PIP. So as you go into a performance improvement plan, keep your head up. Stay positive about the attitude. Look upon it as an opportunity to enhance your own growth. And if you've enjoyed this video, hey, give me a thumbs up. I would really like to hear your comments on what it was like for you to be on a performance evaluation plan. And did you survive it? Did you get through it? What were the factors that helped you survive a PIP successfully? So this is G.H. Clay for Coaching ADD. Thanks for sharing this time with me, and I will see you next week.